Sound system, just say we're holding it up for 10 minutes. Can you announce that we're holding? Can you put an announcer there? Not delay for 10 minutes. Thanks. Joe. You can speak on that. All right. Again. 1, 2. Just to let you know that we're due to start at 12:30, but we're going to start at 20 to 1 instead, just to let the flow of traffic in the gates below. So just to hold up for about 10 minutes, and we'll with you then. Thank you so very much.
Don't be like, don't be caught like Mr. Kelly. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Take down against you. Careful. Yeah.
It's okay, they can't see your face.
Well, I'm just putting up a nice
No, it's okay, kick him down the lane, and if he's not there, the lane, so I'll go down.
We're perfectly willing to take off 4 times a month. There's no problem with that. None. But the board number was not fought for financing that, right? And they'd have to take the lead. That's why these things came up. They'd be much better off, and we'd be happy to do. Don't have any quarter finance. Top 4, 1v4, 3v3, and use that week to let tomorrow night fixtures all off so we can't be the number.
No, but like that's a straight line.
Jesus, we would think very, very, not just to us, but to you, Borland, doesn't matter what that story is, they don't care who they play. So, if you're ready on we've already launched a voice of this into John Savage tomorrow to get people, that you're willing to support Borland, but Jesus, the other thing, when they can't get that is wrong. We don't think of that. And he's as interested in for your club as much as he is for us. Now, yeah. So, to be honest, and it can be decided right now inside the failing corner. So, thanks for reading that to me, and that is your issue. No purpose, it's the fairest system, then, and the best we win. Okay, and okay, go back. Thanks for reading. Go back. No, is anybody that's tuning in now, do they know what's gone back? Can they see a picture? Good man, well done. Yeah, keep it one of the best I can. He's outside in fairness, he's done the job, and Mark Dunn, he's outside in the what you call so hey, we're all, I'll keep it one of the best I can. You will be watching coach anyway, so do you win it? And he showed his coverage for the team. Yeah. Tell you a quick one on that. Excellent. Little chap, 20 years, but he can't get it. It's lovely to have. I wanted to chase the ball coming out of the ball for the chance. So Mikey Beans took him inside the training line. First he told him, the Derek should have been no tackle on the out ball, the man coming out, and it's costing us a bit. Listen to him. Then they got this video, one from the second word, please. The man up top. Here's him, stepped inside, the cornerback over the ball, trying to pull around, over it. They didn't listen. They got down Ireland final, Limerick, and played and top. They got 5 goals, remember, the first 2 minutes, 10 minutes, game over. Five fouls in the second half, they finish, they didn't then they wouldn't listen to the pictures, and he's a good champion for not taking the camera. Yeah, camera never lies. So, that's the level it's gone to. For which team?
Okay, so we let them go off a bit there, right? We let them go off a bit. As soon as they're gone off around 21, you can start them when the sound has gone down a bit. Okay? And you can go through the teams anyway during the parade. Alright? Yeah.
Thanks very much, good lad. How are you, Morgan? I'll do it now when they're gone around. Yeah, just when they're gone. It's Morgan, you do that. You do that. Okay, if you want to, you're welcome. No, you do it. Ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're watching, whatever county you're in, whatever division you're in, whatever country you're in, you're welcome to Holy Cross for the Mid-Senior Hurling Final 2021, Loughmore Castleiney against Thurles Sarsfields. Fighting for the double prize, the Lahey Cup with Mid-Senior Hurling Champions, and also qualification for the County Senior Hurling Preliminary Quarter-Final. So a double prize at stake here. 2 super teams have come through the division with contrasting fortunes this year. Sarsfields cruising through, a lot more difficulty with Mike Harkey Burris in the semi-final. A really good game after McCarthy taken out last year's or the previous champions Drum, who won it in 2019. No final, of course, in 2020 because of COVID, but it's great to be back in a mid-senior hurling final. I've seen every final since 1978, and if you're a youngster watching this is the place you want to be. Playing for your club in a mid-senior hurling final, the band leading you around. It's Ger Neville and the McCarthy Pipe Band leading the 2 teams around. Minutes to go before the throw-in here. The throw-in was put back, of course, because of a bit of traffic on the bridge here in Holy Cross. But here are the 2 teams that will contest the 2021 Mid-Senior Hurling Final. First of all, Loughmore Castleiney, couple of changes, but here's their line-out. In goals, number 1, Aidan McGrath. Their full back line, number 2, Tomas McGrath. Number 4, Joey Hennessy. And the other cornerback, number 8, Larkin Egan, moving back to midfield. The half-back line for Loughmore Castleiney, number 5, John Ryan. Number 6, John Maher. And number 7, Brian McGrath. In the middle of the field for Loughmore Castleiney, number 17, Ed Connolly. And number 9, Tommy Maher. Their half-forward line remains unchanged. Number 10, Liam Tracy. Number 11, John McGrath, centre forward. And number 12,
Noel McGrath, the captain of the team. The full forward line for Loughmore Castleiney, number 13, youngster into the team this year. Oh, what a youngster, what a strong player. Kieran McCormack, and number 13, right corner forward. At full forward, Anthony Ryan moves in for a great battle with Padraig Maher. Two strong fellas there on the edge of the square. And in the other corner for Loughmore Castleiney, that dangerous forward, Shane Hennessy, taking in a corner forward. The Thurles Sarsfields team shows 2 changes from the programme, and here is the Thurles Sarsfields team for the mid-final. In goals, Paddy McCormack. The full back line, number 20, Paul Maher, number 3, Padraig Maher, and number 4, Joseph Ryan. Their half-back line, Jack Derby, Ronan Maher and David Corbett. The band is getting closer, the national anthem is getting closer. The midfield lads is Michael Cahill and Stephen Cahill. The half-forward line, Shawnee Butler having a great year, Aidan McCormack and Conor Stakelum. And inside, Paddy Creedon replaces Darragh Stakelum, he goes corner forward with Dennis Maher, the captain, and Owen Purcell. That completes the Sarsfields team. Here comes the band, here comes the 2 teams. We're really ready for the national anthem, we're really ready for the mid-senior hurling final 2021. Sean Tracy fight band, get ready for the national anthem. The referee, of course, is another Sean, our own Shawnee Everett from Wayne Temple to Leeds. And we get ready for the national anthem here in Holy Cross. Have it. A fine crowd here in Holy Cross, a huge crowd here in Holy Cross really, and we're ready for the mid-final. Last night we had the West final, today we have the North and the South final. We also have the mid-final here now, and Ger Neville leads the McCarthy pipe band to the sideline. The 2 teams take their places, they'll know each other very well. Of course, they had that classic final in Temple 2 in 2018, what a game that was, and now they take their places again. We watch for any changes, any positional switches. I do see, Anthony Ryan going in on Padraig Maher full forward, and Shawnee Everett throws it in, a stalemate in the middle of the field. Who gets the first ball in their hand in this mid-final? They tussle for it outside the mid-final, and in it goes towards maybe Aidan McCormack. Aidan McCormack comes on it in there, he turns inside. No shot, they shout. It was one person. He plays it across to the side here for Paddy Creedon. Big strong fella, number 19, he's back. He gets inside, so he does, and an early chance here for Paddy Creedon. Number 19 for Sarsfields takes the point, and the first blood goes to Thurles Sarsfields. A ball from Owen Purcell into the other corner forward. Paddy Creedon. Paddy had the bulk, the power, and the turn to turn his man and turn inside and get the first score. For a second, you'd be saying there was a goal on. Anyway, went for the point, got it, and here's Aidan McGrath, the first puck out. On the near side, a bit of trouble here off the ball, but Padraig Maher attacks the puck out and picks it out of the sky in front of Anthony Ryan. Bursts forward and wins his free. So Rouser on the far side, the first long puck out. Padraig Maher saw it a long time coming, jumped in the air, grabbed it as he's done so many times for Sarsfields and for Tipperary. Came to ground and now takes the free himself. Again goes to Paddy Creedon corner. This time it's Dennis Maher with the green helmet. Comes across and gets clean possession. There's a tussle going on inside the square off the ball. But fair play to Joey Hennessy. Joey won it back off him and played up the line and played a lovely ball up the line. This time Anthony Ryan came in front of Padraig Maher, got it and laid it back out here to Eddie Connolly. Eddie Connolly to level it. What a start for Eddie Connolly. Back in the team after injury and picked today. And what a lovely start from a layoff. Back out from Anthony Ryan. Out to Eddie Connolly and it's 1-1. Eddie seems to be, he's going back to centre field. He was originally on Ronan Maher. and seems to come back out centre field. Paddy McCormack changes the direction of the puck out, down where there's a lot of traffic. Up in the air goes Brian McGrath, great semi-final against McCarthy. But down with the ball came Shawnee Butler, also had a really good year over there with the yellow helmet, number 10 for Sarsfields. Shawnee got the break when it didn't go to hand. Shawnee turned, Shawnee got fouled, and here will be a chance for Sarsfields' second point. I guess it'll be Ed McCormack on his left-hand side. He's been excellent on them all year, scored a lot against Upper Church in the semi-final, and a lot again, maybe 10 against Holy Cross in the quarter-final. Aidan Benz lifts and off his left-hand side, drives it out onto the other pitch here in Holy Cross, and it goes 2 points to 1 for Thurles Sarsfields. So 2-1, a score a minute so far, or even more than that. And 2 minutes gone, 2 points to 1, 2 points from play, 1 point from a free. Here we go. The puck out there from Aidan McGrath goes again to the far side. Padraig Maher attacks it behind, but is broken back there by Paul Maher. What a lovely neat cornerback he is. Absolutely excellent carrying that ball over the back line and setting up the overlaps. He wouldn't want to be loud there, or he'd set up scores the other end, even from that position. It is a line ball, and over on the far side it's John McGrath who flicks a beautiful ball into the path. Oh, beautiful ball into the path of Anthony Ryan, and Anthony Ryan's second good possession brings the free. So far, Padraig caught the first one, Anthony caught the second one and laid it, and now Anthony caught that one down low from a lovely line ball by John McGrath. Loughmore just do that type of simple thing so well. A beautiful clipped line ball by John McGrath. Anthony made his move. He seemed to have a lot of room inside because the 15 isn't playing in the corner. He came into that position, got down low, picked it, won the free, and then John does the rest, and it's 2 points apiece. So both teams have a score from play and a score from the free so far, and a really good bright opening here in Holy Cross. 2 points apiece. Paddy McCormack with his third puck out. Goes short, goes to Padraig, usually safe pair of hands. Padraig will look up, distribution really good. Goes short and low, and he's good again. Finds his brother Ronan. Ronan to turn and look, and they're going this side again. No, it wasn't Ronan. It was Ronan gone up the field for it, and Ronan had gone over that, probably a set play after Ronan puck out. He played it at the far side for Paddy McCormack, or Paddy Green turns up on the far side this time. And he's won 1 ball in each corner, but Loughmore managed to get it back off him. And John McGrath playing unbelievably deep here, back in his own 45. He'll make the play and he'll bring it. So Brian McGrath brings it forward from wing back. Might have been John Ryan. John to survive the heavy tackle and still brought it. Good work over John Ryan to bring it. A little flick over there from Liam Tracy. Flicked it up to the man coming on his shoulder, which seemed to be Eddie Connolly. And Loughmore won the free out, and Loughmore have a chance to take their first score, take the lead for the first time here. So 2 points apiece. Good work there by John Ryan off a John McGrath possession. He brought us forward, survived the shunt. Kevin over 20 yards. After that, Liam Tracy got a beautiful flick on it towards an on-rushing Eddie Connolly, who got fouled, and now a chance for John McGrath to make it 3 points to 2. So very bright opening here. Only 4 minutes on the clock, but already perhaps a 5th score coming up here. John McGrath bends, lifts and strikes. He strikes his frees off the right. Aidan strikes his off his left here, McCormack. But John scores again. It goes 3 points to 2 for Loughmore. There's no breeze in it whatsoever. No advantage really either way. You'll see the tricolours fairly thin. Paddy goes down the far side again and finds a hand with a great puck out. And that hand is the hand of Aidan McCormack. He comes, brings it, lays it on to Conor Stakelum. So effective in the 2 matches so far. Back to Roland, possession game. Back to tall Jack Derby. Jack comes across to Michael Cahill. Still playing brilliant hurling even in the autumn of his career. He was half blocked down, so it fell shorter than he would imagine. But from the clearance, it falls out to the yellow helmet of maybe Shawnee Butler over there. Shawnee was dispossessed over there on the far side by Tommy Maher, and Tommy played it forward, and it comes forward, and Tommy shows for it again. Good play from Tommy Maher on the far side, and suddenly he's got a lot of room because he came into the play twice, took a return pass, and he was trying to steady himself. And the cheer from the far side will tell you that Tommy Maher has just played a really good play to Ireland there. Won the possession, played a 1-2, came up the field and knocked over a really good score. So Loughmore go 4-2 up here on their best move so far from Tommy Maher. Here we go, Paddy McCormack with a puck out. He'll come this side this time. He's gone mostly by the railway line so far. We'll see what he does here. Shawnee Ever just sorts out a few bits and pieces there. Nothing major, never anything major between these two teams. Only really good hurling and just a bit of jousting over there. Shawnee says leave it alone. We're ready for a puck out from Paddy McCormack. Here we go. So Paddy's 4th puck out coming now. No, his 5th one maybe. Here we go. Paddy, will he chance by the stand side? Will he go short? He's gone all the railway side or short so far, and he's going the railway side again here. Seems to be a plan in that, and the plan is down the far side to where Conor Stakelum made a really good run. When it didn't go to hand, Loughmore piled in and Loughmore won it and pushed it forward a bit. So breaking ball over there, but fair play to over there for Conor Stakelum, won it back, and Loughmore were able to get something on the clearance, and John McGrath went exceptionally deep again. That's a feature of the game so far. John McGrath playing out around the middle of the field, coming really, really deep, and then being a playmaker inside. He lobs a high one, which should be Paddy McCormack's, and he bring it out another bit. Got fouled, I'd say. Shawnee says play away, but anyway, Roland had gone back to pick up the piece, and Roland brings it and charges forward with it. Possession game. He plays it to Michael Cahill, and Michael decides to go long straight direct towards Dennis Maher and Paddy Creed, and Paddy Creed catches. His hurley was maybe held. He's a lovely little backward pass to Dennis Maher, the goal king so far this year. Someone got a great block on him, I'd say. It was Joey Hennessy got a fantastic half block on Dennis Maher there, and they say a clash ball is a wide ball, and that's what the umpires think as well. Shawnee and his men in agreement. Clash ball is a wide ball, but that was a really interesting one. Two huge men inside, Paddy McCormack and Dennis Maher. Dennis got 5 goals so far in this mid-championship, but Joey Hennessy stuck with him, stuck to his task, got a half block on his shot. Puck out came there from Aidan McGrath down the field. Jack Derby underneath it on his knees, but Noel McGrath won it and tossed it well out to the middle of the field. And we'll see who got it. It's fallen short over there from the shot from maybe Eddie Maher again. No, it might have been Shane Hennessy. I'd say to Shane, got his shot away, but she dropped on the railway side of the goal and out wide. Paddy McCormack looks this side this time. Will it be his first puck out down by the stand? It is. But he just hops it in front here down the wing, just barely hops it nicely in front of Owen Purcell, and Owen goes away down the wing. Owen still on it. So Boost just let him down a bit, but he won it back. But there with him was Brian McGrath. Brian goes low to win it and flick it forward. In there, oh, lovely bit of skill there out of Eddie Connolly, who started this game very well, and he tossed a right good pass towards John Maher, who stayed forward. Now John is very strong on the ball, and he's able to take a score as well. Can he prove me right here? John Maher will take a score. Took 2 in the semi-final against McCarthy, and he's after taking another one here. And nice and quietly, Loughmore slipped 2 points to 5 up. So points from freeze by John McGrath, but points from play from John Maher. And now Brian McGrath underneath this. The players coming up in the Tipperary rankings over the last year or two, I would say. As a fullback, maybe as a wingback. He's after bringing that forward, and he's after finding a runner inside. And the runner on the far side is Liam Tracy. And Liam Tracy usually good for a few scores every match as well. So Loughmore on a bit of a run at the moment. They're getting back possession of the Sarsfields puck out, and they're to work it forward with John McGrath playing very deep. They're to work it forward, and they're to get scores, and they're gone 6-2 up here in the first quarter. Can Paddy find a hand this time? Decides to just lump it along, and that might suit Brian McGrath, might suit John Maher. Oh, in underneath it went Sarsfields, and they won it back with a nice piece of skill there from Shawnee Butler, and the shot came and dipped and went into the goal. Did that go in the goal? Let's watch jumpers. It's in the net. It dipped completely from a yellow helmet. It was either Conor Stakem or Shawnee Butler, one of the wing forwards. There was an unmerciful dip on the ball. Aidan McGrath probably lost the flight of it, but it was an exceptionally dipping ball. It was struck on his back foot of his left side, and sometimes that kind of a shot leads to a dip. And out of the blue, after a great 5 minutes of Loughmore hurling, out of the blue, Sars cop a break, and they go 1-2 to 6 points. And she's back within a point again. So 1-2 to 6. Phenomenal scoring here after only 8 minutes and 30 seconds. Down the far side where Jack Derby jumped on top of his already 6'4" height and broke it back, but Loughmore were on the break. And again, it might be Eddie Connolly up the far side, or maybe Liam Tracy. Was he fouled? He wasn't. Shawnee says get up. Fair play to Shawnee, letting this game run. And Sarsfields on it, it's Ronan again. Ronan turns and comes out. He's rarely stopped when he breaks the first tackle. This time it's the ball, it's taken. Ronan wasn't stopped, but the ball was. John McGrath gets on it, and John McGrath knocks it over the bar. So every mistake on either side being really punished here. And Loughmore look really sharp, and they got 7 points to 1-2. Ronan came out, but the ball didn't. Loughmore took back the ball and knocked it back over the bar, and John McGrath made it 7 points to 1-2. Paddy having a look with the puck out again. They got the goal off the last one because Loughmore didn't grasp the ball when it came out of the air. Sarsfields got something on it, so he goes long again. Aidan McCormack underneath it. It's broken back by Loughmore, who had height that time and broke back the ball. It was on the far side, Liam Tracy, but Liam was held up by Jack Derby, which meant the ball fell to Conor Stakem. Conor got 5 points in the quarter final. This time it's a wide. He got 5 points against Holy Cross in the quarter. That one was from a long ways out. It was out 65 yards out on the railway side here in Holy Cross. Didn't go over, and it stays 7 points to 1-2 for Loughmore, who you'd have to say are doing all the hurling, but that break of goal had kept Sarsfields on the scoreboard anyway into it. Not that scores mean hugely now, because they're able to get him so quick. Anyway, this time young Aidan goes long with the puck out, but Paul Maher got a hurley across it, and Paul Maher brought it forward, and this is what he's very, very good at. He's a tremendous carrier of the ball, very compact, very tidy with his solo. Now, is there a finished product? Goes for the score. There is a finished product. There is a finished product. I've been hugely impressed by this player. I said it before the throw-in. In the championship, I've been really impressed by Paul Maher at number 20, say at number 2 cornerback for the Sarsfields. He's playing way out the field because McCarthy only playing, or sorry, Loughmore only playing one inside. But you have to be careful. If you draw out a cornerback that's that good to hurl, he can punish you. Over on the far side, Michael Cahill underneath it, but Loughmore have possession of it, and it's John McGrath with that traditional handoff of the. How does he just make room for himself? He's gone through and he's flashed it over the bar down the far side. He just used his arm to make a bit of space for himself, sent his body the other way. Suddenly he had 2 yards where we thought he had none. Ducked over onto his right hand side and knocked it over, and it goes 8 points to 1-3. So it's a score a minute here, and you'd have to say the standard of score taken is really good on both sides. Paul Maher just there now for Thurles Sarsfields. John McGrath with 2 in a row for Loughmore. He's doing a lot of hurling. Now, over on the far side, Conor Stakem or Shawnee Butler. Shawnee got under that, got his hand on it when he came to ground. Loughmore got back of him. Shawnee went in digging again and got another bite and won it back and played it inside Aidan McCormack. Of his left side, that'd be a good chance of a score here. Wide dish out on the far side and they're right. Over on the railway side, so 2 wides in a row for Sarsfields from roughly the same position over on the railway side here in Holy Cross. It stays 8 points to 1-3 in a really good opening quarter here in this mid-final. Loughmore go long the whole way to a 2-on-2 with John McGrath being one of the two. That's the problem. Anthony Ryan's the other. Anthony brings it down. Anthony will look for the strike here, but Ronan Maher got a great block on him. When you're going out the field, it's hard to strike over your shoulder. Padraig has a look at the sticks at the other end and says, hey, I'll have a go. Is it going to go in under the crossbar again? No, Aidan kept his hand. Aidan McGrath really kept his eye on that one the whole way, and he just brings out and does the simple thing. Plays it to the far side there to Lorcan Egan, and Lorcan gets blocked down, and Sarsfields get it back, and Sarsfields have a man inside here, and that man inside is Dennis Maher. Will he think goal? Will he think he's 6 goal? Lays it Aidan McCormack. Here comes the second goal! Second goal for Sarsfields, and that's a real boost for them, because that's one of all of their own creation. Loughmore had the ball, they were bringing it out along a huge turnover by the Sarsfields full forward line, turned over Lorcan Egan, and then played a superb ball inside to Aidan McCormack, and Aidan's finish was excellent. And suddenly the Sars go in front. This is a right good game here, a 2-3 to 8 points. Loughmore go long, go direct all the way up to the far end towards Shane Hennessy. He laid it over the far side to Liam McGrath. Liam Mills get his second one. No, that goes across the face of the goal. So despite having done most of the hurling, Loughmore find themselves behind at 2-3 to 8 points. The second Sarsfield goal, as I said, totally different to the first one. The first one from long distance, the second one a brilliant piece of vision and creation up front. Paddy goes with the puck out down the near side. Here comes young person onto Young Owen, but it breaks behind him, and onto it comes Tommy Maher there, or Lorcan Egan. Lorcan looks over here to the near side where he sees the powerful John Maher, the teacher out there in Loughmore School. A great block there out of Owen Purcell, but it comes up the line. And showing for the Shane Hennessy, he turns inside. They all thought he'd lay it, so he went inside. His shot may not have the range to make it. Paddy's underneath it, just like Aidan was at the other end, and Paddy brings it out. And Paddy dropped it, brought it to the side, and then just knocked it simple one to Paul Maher. Will he carry it past the tackle here? No, this time they stand him up. That's interesting. But he had Padraig ready waiting shotgun, and Padraig brings it out. Is Padraig going to go long down the stand? He is not, because a fantastic block down by Loughmore. Over there, a fantastic block down there by Tommy Maher. So, a really good open game here, really good hurling by both sides. 2-3 to 8 points. We're coming up 2 minutes before the water break. Not a wrong stroke in the game. Real good open game of hurling here. Both teams sharp when they get chances, but both teams giving up chances as well, you'd have to say. So, 13 minutes on the clock, a line ball out for Ronan Maher, and we all know how Ferry's able to drive a line ball. He's done it so often for Sarsfields and Tipperary, cutting line balls 80, 90 yards. Here he goes with the line ball. This will drop inside the Loughmore 45, I can guarantee you. There it goes. It drops inside the Loughmore 45. Underneath it, strong and hard. There was Brian McGrath, but it broke behind Brian, so it did, and it went inside, but Loughmore had gone back well, and they go long again to that 2-man full forward line inside. This time Roland's waiting inside, Padraig's waiting inside, and they bring it out between them. Padraig comes out here to the stand side, turns, gets the head up, and just plays this nice simple pass to his brother Ronan, another simple pass to Stephen to Michael Cahill. Michael carries it forward, got a great goal against Holy Cross. This time round, got caught from behind, and got into a bit of bother. Loughmore surrounded him and swarmed him around, but Conor Stakelin came in and solved the problem and won it. A hard collision with him and John McGrath, two strong fellas on the shoulder. Forward it goes to Dennis Maher, right with him is Lorcan Egan, two big strong fellas as well. A right battle going on there. Lorcan stopped him from catching it clean, which meant then that he was able to win the free out, because John Ryan went back and got a really good possession. He's a strong fella too. He took the collision, kept his feet, won the free, and won a free out for Loughmore, which Aidan McGrath will take. So 2-3 for Sarsfields is 9, 8 points for Loughmore, and it's Aidan McGrath with the line with the free and his own 45 after John Ryan win for Loughmore. Will Aidan go for the sticks here? He seems to be winding up for a big one, but she's not going the full distance. But John McGrath is underneath it, Anthony Ryan is underneath it, Padraig Maher of course is underneath it, and he gets the highest and he brings it out. But Loughmore got a tackle at him just like they did a minute gone wrong, and eventually it was a flick out which will come out there towards Stephen Cal. Stephen picks and comes around his man and tries to just spoon it on, but no better men than Loughmore to get him into your armpit and stop you from getting a clean hand pass away. But Stephen Cal survived the shunt and played it upfield, but Loughmore won it back at midfield, and over there it came to in the finish after a bit of a moment to Ronan going for the long one. Ronan going for a long ball towards the new pitch in, right under the crossbar again. Aidan McGrath kept his nerve. The first one went wrong. The subsequent two, he's grabbed him brilliantly under the crossbar. There was great crack underneath him between Dennis Maher, I'd say, or Paddy Crean and the corner back, while he was catching the ball. Some old style stuff there, nothing dirty, just a bit of protecting your goalie. Loughmore or Sarsfields won back the clearance and played it forward and played it straight to Shawnee Butler. Shawnee thought it went over, but he don't raise the flag. The linesman or the umpire doesn't. The umpire says it was wide, so it stays at 8 points to 2-3 after a really lively opening quarter here. As good as you could look to see for good score taken from each side so far. I'd say we're close enough to a water break at 15 minutes, 40 seconds gone. Shawnee's not looking for though. He's allowing this puck out from Aidan McGrath. Aidan goes up the near side. Jack Derby underneath it. His height might get the first touch and did. He walked it to Michael Cal. He decided that he'd pick instead of pulling. Years ago he'd have pulled on that. That don't happen anymore. Anyway, Ronan, no, it wasn't Ronan. Over there was David Corbett, won it and played a lovely hurley pass inside to Ronan, who played Padraig off his shoulder, and Padraig goes for the sticks. The crowd like it, but the umpires don't, and it stays outside and wide, and then Shawnee calls the first water break. So there's hardly been time to draw a breath here. It's been a really interesting first quarter, the mid-senior hurling final, and the story of the day would have been a flash or a flurry of Loughmore points between about the 5th and the 10th minute, which get them 5 clear, but then a long range goal for Thurles Sarsfields in under the crossbar, and after that another goal for Thurles Sarsfields off a turnover up in the top right corner here under the scoreboard. Loughmore Sarsfields turned over a Loughmore clearance, won it back, a brilliant inside pass and a second goal, and suddenly Sarsfields find themselves in front 2-3 to 8 points, despite the fact that Loughmore seemed to do most of the hurling. On the Sarsfield end, what are they looking at? Well, they've had a couple of wides. They have Dennis Maher inside having a right battle there with Lachlan Egan, with Joey Hennessy, 2 strong men inside there. They'll be looking at, I would say, not giving Loughmore too many turnovers. They did get turned over a couple of balls coming out. Sarsfield did as well, and Loughmore got points up the railway side here. So early days, they're both sorting each other out, but a really, really good contest at 2-3 to 8 points. If this scoring rate continued, by God, you'll be well up in the 20s of points in totals with both teams, and the goals flowing here as well. So Loughmore down here to our right in front of the scoreboard. No big sunshine that they have to go in out of or anything like that. Sarsfield's up here to our left in a little huddle there with Eamon Welch and the lads, Brendan Carroll and the lads. So really interesting, really interesting here so far in the mid-final. Sarsfield's 2-3, Loughmore 8 points, and the good players really showed their stuff here. John McGrath, Ronan Maher, Padraig Maher, all showing really good form. Again, highly impressed with Paul Maher, the defender for Sarsfields, who's playing a good bit out from the goal. So yeah, really good game here so far. Paddy Creedon dangerous on the first ball, got his first score in a mid-final, and I'd say he'll score many more over the years in mid-senior hurling finals. Since then, haven't seen as much of him. He crossed for the second ball over to the scoreboard side, but certainly a fair handful. Him and Dennis Maher physically in there, a big handful. Shawnee says, come on boys, that's enough time for water, let's go again. The clock showing 16:07, and the two teams emerge for the second quarter here, and if it's as good as the first quarter, we'll thoroughly enjoy it. So, no wind, so no great advantage, as I said, in playing either direction here, and both teams well familiar with Holy Cross pitch down the years. Sarsfield still in their mini huddle. They're happy with what they've seen and what they've heard. Back they go. Where will we restart from? Shawnee seems to be looking down maybe towards Aidan McGrath, towards the Loughmore end. So I guess the next puck out will come from the Loughmore end after a water break, of course. No throw in, just resume from where we started. So no change on either side or anything like that. 2-3 to 8 points. And I think, I'll have a look, but I think we'll restart maybe with an Aidan McGrath puck, and we'll keep an eye on where it's going and where it's landing and who's underneath it. So, yes, it is Aidan. Aidan with the puck out. Here we go. Caught it to last 2 balls really well under the crossbar. Goes really long on this one. Maybe a set play straight after a water break. They rise on the far side and it breaks out over the sideline. And a line ball back down to Sarsfields over on the far side. 2 men went up very high on the far side. David Corbett and maybe Liam Tracy over there. Went out over the sideline off Liam's hand, and a line ball to Thurles Sarsfields over the far side, which Michael Cal might be going to take. No, it's his other midfield partner, Stephen Cal. Plays it down the line. Up high in the air went John Ryan on the end of the ball, and John tries to break the tackle coming forward. Aidan McCormick tried to stand him up. John leaned back and got the puck out over Aidan, which meant it had to go very high. And when it goes high, you leave it in the air a long time for the likes of Padraig Maher to be ready to stand under. And Padraig will always find Ronan, and he'll come back and pick it up off him. And Ronan goes the whole way down to the 2-man full forward line. Here we go. It's Paddy Creedon with clean possession. He got in the first time. He just turns the second time and whips it across and whips it wide this time. You'd nearly say an easier chance than his first one. But there you see Ronan Maher was able to clear the Loughmore half-back line direct into a corner with a direct ball once Padraig picked it up and found it. Anyway, Aidan with the puck, will he chance to the near side? She looks a bit strong to me. She looks a bit strong. But over there, Brian McGrath, very cool. Really cool and strong to keep it in play and come up the line. That's Sarsfields after him. He managed to poke it forward a bit, but it only went to Ronan. Ronan just picked out Shawnee Butler. Shawnee's last one went wide. Where did this one go? She's dropping just outside the far post from Shawnee. A second wide for him, but that one was fair close. We were right behind it with the camera. There wasn't a foot in it, but wide it went, and it stays 2-3 to 8 points, and a puck out for Aidan McGrath. Where did he go with this one? He went the last one top of David Corbett. We'll see where he goes with this one. Goes the near side with this one, and again it's Jack Derby, more height there in the half-back line for Sarsfields. Up goes Jack and knocks it back, and when it came to ground, Michael Cal was the man on the deck, and Michael Cal picked it, turned on his left side and drilled it towards Aidan McCormick. Took it on his hurley rather than the hand, but anyway, no, it wasn't Aidan, it was Owen, his own personal. One is in digging for it, and if he can get it out, there are 2 Sarsfields with him, and there's one of them. And I could see this being very dangerous because Ronan's away. Ronan to take the point. No! Ronan with a hurley pass to Dennis inside. If it had stayed in hand, that was fair dangerous for Loughmore. That's interesting now because Sarsfields had an easy point there for the taking once Ronan broke forward, and he thought there was more in it, but it didn't go to it didn't stick in Dennis's hand, and Loughmore were able to work it out the far side. Now Ronan stayed upfield, which means Loughmore could do something off this. It's John McGrath with a posse after him of Sarsfields men, and one of the posse took it back. I'd say it was Conor Stagan. What a brilliant piece of work back from Conor. He won it off John McGrath and then flicked it out to the wing to David Butler. David Corbett. David saw Dennis McGrath inside 1-on-1 with Joey Hennessy, but Joey got up high, but Dennis Maher won in the second attempt. Oh, great piece of defence. A great piece of defence by Joey Hennessy again. You underestimate this fella at your peril. He's after getting a great block in there, just like he did earlier. Anyway, Padraig ready to descend with Anthony Ryan. The two of them come, a great tackle. Padraig got a little flick on it out, Padraig Maher, but it was read there by Liam Tracy. Liam, very experienced, cool character. Oh, what a lovely flick inside. And when he found inside, he found Shane Hennessy. Shane going forward, but there's too many around him for the swing a stick. He'll have to lay it, I'd say. And they're still around him. Padraig Maher not easy to get around. But anyway, Shane's still there. The Blue Swarm got back after him, and eventually it was Padraig Maher who brought it to ground. And then Stephen Cahill went back to help him out. Stephen Cahill in the play a good bit now, going backwards towards his own goal. He again went long towards Dennis Maher, trundles onto it, turns and lays it. If it's a point, it's a copybook score. It's outside from Dennis, outside to Conor Stakem, and the umpire nods his head on the near side. And that's a right good score from Sarsfields. A crossfield ball, which meant that he took out the back line. Dennis came across onto it, and this time just secured his possession, laid it to an on-running Conor Stakem, and Conor off his left hand over the bar. The puck out goes to Noel McGrath in the play now. Noel killed it lovely on the hurley and went here for Brian, his brother. Has Brian got the range? I'd say it is going to the bridge side here in Holy Cross. I'd say it is, and the umpire says it is too. It goes wide on the bridge side, and Sarsfields with a 2-point lead, 2-4 to 8 points. The score's not coming as quick in this quarter as they did in the first one. Paddy goes down the railway side with the puck out. Aidan McCormack will be underneath with John Ryan. It passes both of them. But Tommy Maher had read it very well where it was going to go. He went back and played it up the line, and over on the far side the tussle comes up the line, and it was very well won over there on the far side, maybe for Paul Maher. He plays inside the Conor Stakem, having more and more of an influence as the game is going on, bits and pieces like he always does, that all add up to a huge contribution in this game. And there he is again. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about, just those little bits and pieces he does for the Sarsfields team. And this time he played it in towards the 2-man full forward line again. Dennis Maher and John Creed inside Young Paddy. This time again it didn't stick for Dennis. The last one did, and he set up a lovely point for Conor Stakem. This one went to ground, and the ref says that so did his hand, and the ref says a puck out, or a free out, for which Aidan McGrath will take. Now it's not within range to score, I'd say. So where can he find a gap? I see Roland gone back on the edge of the square, so he certainly can't drop it there of an extra man. Can he go somewhere else? He does drop it there, and I'd say Roland will be underneath this. So unless it's going over the bar, he'll put it exactly where the spare man was. Well, there's the other spare. Paddy McCormack who called Roland and said, leave it to me, and found Michael Cadd down the far side. Michael comes forward, and like he did in the 16 All-Ireland, made a brilliant point for Bubbles. Came forward a ball like that. This time it's Loughmore that might get the score of it. Not a killing all man and not a Sarsfield man, because Noel McGrath read it like a book from his old mate Michael Cadd. He read Michael's hand pass, he intercepted it. That's just brilliant, intelligent hurling out of Noel McGrath. He read what Michael's body language was. He knows it so well. He read where the pass was going. He intercepted the pass and knocked it over the bar. Paddy goes short with the puck out. We're back on here. Ronan, or no, it's Padraig this time, trying to go again, direct to the inside too. Dennis and Paddy inside. Larkin Egan again got a hand across in front of Dennis Maher's hand. But Aidan McGrath, Cormac came onto it. John Ryan is still with him. And great defence again over there for Joey Hennessy, who to me has given an exhibition of really good defence. I won't say call it last-ditch tackles, but certainly good solid defence there, block downs, tackles, just good sound defence without any panic at the back from Joey Hennessy. I know the 2 goals have gone in, but he has certainly rescued several dangerous situations there. So a really interesting game here from the start, and continues to be interesting. Sarsfields 2-4, Loughmore 9 points, and from that intervention by Joey Hennessy on the attack by Aidan McCormack, it'll be a 65 for Sarsfields, which Aidan McCormack will take off his left-hand side. He'll be trying to float it in here off the near post and float it in. There is no crosswind or no downwind, so you'd fancy Aidan to knock this over the bar. He's usually good for 8, 9, 10 of these per match. Aidan off the left side floats it in and over. A nod from one umpire to the other for Shardie's umpires, and it goes 2-5 to 9 points. So it's boiling up bit by bit here, 11 points to 9. Sarsfields in front, 2-5 to 9, but there's very little between them in general play. Maybe Sarsfields a little bit more of it, we'll say, since the 2 goals kept. Anyway, a puck out on the far side. It's very close to the sideline. Very difficult for a forward to win a ball like that and keep it in play. So there'll be a few more yards in field, but of course if you do that you risk the Ronan Maher and Padraig Maher traffic. So it'll be Padraig himself to take the line ball, just like Ronan. He has a massive line ball, so he'll be hoping to clear this down into the Sarsfield, or down into the Loughmore half of the field, and well down into the Loughmore half of the field, where there's lots of bodies around the 45, but very few inside. Only Paddy Creedon and Dennis Maher inside. Padraig has got a huge one down the line. It'll fall back out in front of the Loughmore subs over there, and they'll gladly give it to their wing back, maybe John Ryan or one of the lads, or John Maher, to take the line ball back up the field. So a little bit of stalemate down the far side. The first lull we've had in the play, kind of as such. And but a line ball for Loughmore. The lull won't last long. A line ball for Loughmore with John Maher over in front of the railway side of the field here. So 9 points for Loughmore, 2-5 for the Sarsfields, and here's John Maher with the line ball. John, a right good cut again. The centre line balls has been good because the growth is back. The pitches have a bit of grass now. Padraig snapped it out of the air and played it straight to the far side where Larkin Egan said, leave it to me, came and played a right ground stroke up the field. Unfortunately, ground strokes can go to the opposition. Ronan read it, and Ronan immediately played it to Dennis Maher. She was dipping hard and hard for a tall man to get down that low. A ball right at his toes. It beat him and went out over the sideline. So the pace of the game has gone down just a bit here. A couple of balls out of play and a couple of balls into goalie's hands and that. And the pace has gone down. Aidan McGrath comes out with a goal and says, here, go on, knock it back to me and I'll clear it for you. He looks after it and he clears it long up the field. It goes right up the middle. It'll be on David Corbett, I'd say, over there. And maybe on Kieran McCormick. We haven't seen him in the game so far. Over on the far side, strong fella, and maybe Anthony Ryan, but again out over the sideline again. And maybe understandably it's after warming up here. It's heavy and humid and close now. The pace of the game has dropped just a little in the last 3 or 4 minutes. Sarsfield still in front, 2-5 to 9 points, and a third line ball in about a minute and a half. And they've all been great line balls. As I said to you, there's a bit of grass there to take line balls off. This time it'll be Ronan. And again, it's massive, absolutely 90-yard line ball straight in front of Dennis. Catches this one clean. There's a fair tussle going in there at full back and full forward. Dennis laid it inside. If it had come up for Aidan McCormick, he'd be straight through a gap, and there could still be danger, but no. Loughmore nice and cool back there, really cool. Played it back to the goalie, and he played it down. Aidan McGrath played it out to John Maher. John rose very high to kill it with the hurley, and then traps it and brings it off his left side up towards Noel. Noel gone deeper in, got a lovely flick on that inside, but Joseph Ryan had read it. Joseph goes back, covers it, and will bring it out to the railway side. Back down Joseph goes, beats the first tackle, comes inside it now. Can't catch anymore, so he'll probably lay it. Goes outside again, it hits the ground, so now he can play it, and does play it to Dennis, but Loughmore to David Corbett, hook him outside his man, found Joseph again. So the two young fellas did very well to work that out despite massive Loughmore pressure. And then of course onto it came Paul Maher, and he carried all day long, and again massive Loughmore pressure. So the three youngsters there for Sarsfields earning their corner, trying to bring out that ball, and eventually it is coming out, and eventually over there Shawnee says, no, hold on, I look after this. So that was some piece of action down the far side. It was Joseph Ryan tried to bring it first, then David Corbett, and after that on the far side, young Paul Maher. All three of them corralled by a posse of red and green Loughmore men. And in the finish, what did they win? Did they win a free back or did they win a line ball? Shawnee will indicate shortly over there on the far side. But that was some work rate by the Loughmore forward line, not letting the Sarsfields backs out with the ball. So we'll know by the linesman over there. Is it a free? It's John McGrath. It's not over, I would say. Is it John or is it Noel? And if it's Noel, it could be a line ball. John, you'd imagine be taking a free. It's Noel. He's placing it very carefully. And we'll see, is he going for a score here? We'll know in a minute. It's Noel with a line ball or a free for Loughmore over on the far side. He goes short, goes backwards. So Loughmore always up to these type of things. A 1-2. The pass back to him was a little high, but like a magician, he just balanced it on the hurley, came back inside and drove it over the bar. And there is skill. There is exquisite skill at its very best by Noel McGrath. The pass back to him was a little high. He trapped it on his hurley as if he had glue and then just knocked it over the crossbar. From the puck out straight away, Ronan went straight to Dennis Maher again. That's a big pry for Sarsfields. And this time Dennis saw a pass inside on to Aidan McCormick. But back there went Eddie Connolly with an important flick back to Larkin Egan. And Larkin, as if he had all the time in the world, really cool, played it back to Ed Connolly again. And Ed can charge forward here. He already has one score to his name. He's going for his second. She may not have the range, I'd say, to dropping around the square. In there's Anthony Ryan. In there's Padraig Maher. It drops behind them all to Paddy McCormick. Paddy comes out and he'll usually look for one of his cornerbacks for a short pass, does again. Out to Padraig Maher. Jack Derby says leave it to me, and Jack stoops, picks it up and plays it to Ronan. Very tall half back line for Thurles Sarsfields. Will Ronan go for the sticks here? If he does, there'll be a massive roar from the Sarsfields outfit, and there is. So there you go, the county players showing us great class here in the last minute or two. Noel McGrath with an outstanding point for Loughmore. Ronan Maher answers it with a great point. It's back on again. It's Kieran McCormick, young lad in his first senior year. Really good, strong young fella, this lad. And he knocks it forward. Kieran McCormick, there's Rucker they call him. But Michael Cahill had gone back, and Michael Cahill covered it and come out with his usual swerve. He played it to Ronan. There'll probably be runners coming here, and there are. The runners off the far side of Stephen Cahill. Will Stephen have a go for the sticks here? Stephen drops it and drops it. The Sarsfields crowd like it on the far side, so they do know. Why wouldn't they? Because it's straight over the bar, and Sarsfields get two from long range in a row. Ronan won the first one, scored it himself, won the second one, laid it to Michael Cahill, laid it then to Stephen Maher, or to over the far side to Stephen Maher, Stephen Cahill, and Stephen put it over the bar. So Sarsies go to 2-7, Loughmore stay to 10 points. So after a little lull in the play, suddenly there's been 3 great scores in a minute, but Sarsies got 2 of them. What a great catch by Jack Derby. Caught a great ball here in the far side over Liam Tracy and knocked it forward low this time. Most of them have been high going in. Paddy Creedon came and laid it to Stephen Cahill again. Shawnee left the play go. Sarsies looking for a free there, but fair play to Shawnee Everett. He's trying to let the play go here. The out ball from Sarsies fell short and fell to Shawnee. This could be his score here. The first 2 didn't go his way. He decides to lay this one to Aidan McCormack, and here's the score now. Off his right side, there you go. Shawnee Butler's first 2 shots didn't go over, so he didn't risk a 50-50 there. He laid it to the man with the percentage shot, which was Aidan McCormack, and off his right side this time Aidan McCormack puts it over, and it goes 2-8 to 10 points. They've both scored 10 times apiece, but it's Sarsfields who've got the 2 goals, and they lead by 4 at 2-8 to 10. The puck out goes long from Aidan McGrath. Over on the far side, Sarsfields deal with it again. It was knocked back by Stephen Cahill to Ronan Maher, and with an effortless swing he drives it long down the field. And Ronan went long with that one, but went wide on the far side. So here we go, 2-8 to 10 points. We're approaching the 28th to 29th minute of the Centenary Agri Mid-Senior Hurling Final 2021. And Aidan tries this time. Shawnee Butler's gone back very deep. Jack Derby caught the last one. He knocked this one with his hand to Shawnee Butler, who laid it back to Patrick Maher, all facing the opposition goal, who read it and turned to Aidan. Sarsi with a sweet piece of hurling. Aidan goes with inside, goes low towards Paddy Creedon. The cornerback got across, and then back went the strong John Maher to win it and come out. He's gone to his knees. It is a little greasy at places out there, and John had to give it up. And when he did give it up, Aidan McCormack waited, stayed outside, leaned back, got it over the blocker and over the bar. Another turnover score from Aidan McCormack. That was off a ball they took back off Brian McGrath. Maybe off John Maher. They stopped him coming out. And then when he went to his knees, he had to release it. And when he released it, Aidan McCormack picked up the bits and pieces and knocked over his second point in as many minutes. So this quarter has been Sarsfield so far, you'd have to say. They're gone 2-9 to 10 points up, which is, 15 points to 10. Sars with a 5-point lead. There'll be a stoppage here now with a minute to go to half time, because up at the other end, I would say, maybe John McGrath, where do we see? We'll have a look in a minute, has his helmet off and just has an old knock. So a chance for everybody to take breath. The last 5 minutes in general has been Sarsfields. They've won it 4 points to 1, with long scores there from Ronan Maher and 2 from Aidan McCormack, and 1 before that, a layoff from Dennis Maher to Conor Stakelum. So I would say Sarsfields have got into their flow a bit in the last maybe 7, 8, 9 minutes. Loughmore bar that magic point from Noel McGrath, not scoring as freely as they were in the first quarter when they got 7 or 8 of them there in about 10 minutes. So there you go, the crowd on the bridge gathering. Noel put the camera on it, the right crowd down along the bridge here in Holy Cross, seeing this mid-final in off the vantage point on the road here. There is a lull, and rightly so, for an injury to one of the Loughmore players inside. Shawnee just added on, there'll be no hassle. The clock says 30 minutes, but there will be time, of course, for that water break and for this injury there to Loughmore. There hasn't been a wrong stroke in the game. Really clean mid-final, really interesting mid-final. It's flowing, it's really flowing. A lull at the start of the second quarter, but it's back flowing again now big time. Shawnee goes over to inquire, is everyone okay? I know it might be Liam Tracy, and Liam back in the game. He already has a lovely point scored, and he'll probably be under this puck again. No, maybe it's a blood injury, because Liam's going over towards the sideline. We'll see in a minute who's in. It might be Cian Hennessy that's in for Loughmore, and we'll aid and go straight to him with the first puck out. No, it goes up the middle towards John McGrath, and John gets up and wins it. A really important win, because Loughmore had been started possession lately. John goes around the first tackler, and the second one was waiting for him. That was Stephen Cahill, who for me is playing a deep line role and doing a lot of important things on his own 45. Anyway, Stephen played it forward. Paddy Creedon came from behind and did well to win it, and laid it to Ronan, who's attacking here. He played outside young Owen Purcell. Will Owen get his first score? Yes, he will, and a sharp one it is. No, it hit the post, a right wallop, and came back out again. Owen won it back to Dennis Maher. Will Dennis Maher make up the ground? Yes, he will, and Dennis Maher knocked it over the bar. So, really interesting what's happening now. Ronan Maher has gone farther forward for Thurles Sarsfields. He's gone right up, would you believe, up there on Brian McGrath, so he is. And he's forming overlaps, and I think before this game is over, one of those overlaps could bring something serious. Anyway, over the far side, Conor Stakelum does his usual job of winning back possession for Sarsfields, and then he'll play the far side here, open up the play towards Owen Purcell again. So a little high from him, and there's an overlap, and it's Shawnee Butler. Shawnee to register. Shawnee does register. Ran onto a really good break down there off of Lorcanegan, a breakdown off Lorcanegan and Owen Purcell, a right good tussle between the two of them, but it broke straight into the path of Shawnee Butler. Shawnee had left his position, ran and anticipated a break, and on the run he registered it over the bar, and Sarsfields go 2-11 to 10, and if I was Loughmore I'd be worried about this last passage of play. The Sarsfields points are coming easier. So there you go, we've reached half time. At one stage it was 2-3 to 8, it's now 2-11 to 10, and the second quarter has really been mostly Sarsfields, you'd have to say. So we've reached half time in the mid-senior hurling final. We're going to take a break now, but the half-time score here is Sarsfields 2-11, 17 points. Loughmore, who started really brightly, 10 points, so a 7-point lead for Thurles Sarsfields at half-time in the Centenary Agri mid-senior hurling final 2021. We'll take a break and be back in 7 or 8 or 10 minutes.
Perfect. We just have a look at your battery.
The stream here today by Robert Healy, sponsored by Centenary Agri. A really interesting final so far. Loughmore really owned the first maybe 10 minutes. Sarsfields got the tonic of a soft goal and then a really good goal. That gave them 2 goals. Shawnee waiting for the band to finish here, and since then Sarsfields have had about 7 points to 3. They've had the better of the points, and Thurles Sarsfields on top here at the moment, running the ball through the lines and finding easy scores at the end of it. We wait the Bacarki pipe band to finish up, and we're ready to go for the second half. Really interesting game so far. Let's see if there's any other things of note here. They're all gone very tight for the second half. Massive space in front of the Sarsfields full forward line. 45 yards of space between Dennis Maher and where this ball is going in and where Aidan McCormack is and where Ronan Maher is. In it goes. A schmozzle in the middle of the field. Who got possession of it? Well, it was tossed back from towards Padraig Maher. A rare mistake. No, it wasn't Padraig, it was young Paul Maher, and was playing towards John McGrath. John McGrath got into full forward now. Interestingly, Padraig not picking him up. John McGrath gets possession, turns and engineers himself a free. There's no one better to do it. His use of his arms is fantastic. He'll get inside you, he'll throw the arm back across you, and he'll bring you with him down on top of himself and win the free in, and it's exactly what Loughmore need at the start of the second quarter just to get back in this game. They're 10 points to 2-11 down. That's 10 points to 17. In the Centenary Agri mid-senior Ireland final, John Benz lifts and strikes, and there you go. It's 10 points. It's now 11 points for Loughmore. It's 2-11 for Thurles Sarsfields. 2 goals in at 39 seconds into the second half. Here we go. Paddy McCormack the puck out, switches at the last minute into the side where Aidan McCormack had made a great run. She was very high from him, and John Ryan got an out touch in it, and in around the back went Paul Maher. Wow, he covered some space to get up there, about 30 yards to get onto the break of that. It was a breaking ball between Aidan McCormack and John Ryan, and when it came to ground, Paul Maher came to it like a rocket, a savage pace. He got to the ground, he got chopped across, so he did, and that won a free on the 45-yard line for Aidan McCormack, and you'd fancy him here to restore Sarsfield's 7-point lead. Here's Aidan of his left side as usual, his usual style. Roll lift, of course, not a jab lift for Aidan, and a beautiful stroke out over the bar, out over the net, and out into the back of the goal. And Sarsfields go 7 points up again at 2-12 to 11 points. There goes Aidan McGrath with the puck out, goes long this time, long and direct down to the far side, and Jack Derby was tussling for it over there, and before it came, they reckoned maybe Jack Derby and Liam Tracy were having an old tussle, and they reckoned it went Jack's way, and it'll be a free for Thurles Sarsfields. Will Aidan go back that far to try one? It's a long ways for your free taker to go. Interestingly, he will. He feels confident about it. As I said, there's no crosswind, no downwind, and if Aidan gets this, Sarsfields will go to an 8-point lead in a position they'd love to be in. Anyway, Aidan McCormack gone back maybe 90 yards. He's gone back past the other 65, and he's second free in less than 30 seconds, and a chance to give Sarsfields an 8-point lead. He bends, he lifts his strikes. It definitely has the length. Has it got the accuracy? It has both, because the umpires know it doesn't have the second part, doesn't have the accuracy, and the umpires say it's wide, and Aidan McGrath will have to try and find a Loughmore hand with his puck out, and he hasn't found him in a while. Goes short, so instead goes to Larkin Egan, who for me has had a really manly game, and then goes out the side. They work a little 1-2 from the goalie back to the goalie, and then out to the far side, and out the far side it comes. So down the near side comes the clearance, and Padraig Maher had read it. Padraig came to it, Ronan there of course to help him as usual. Loughmore take it off and more work it forward, but back there at the back, Michael Cahill covering territory he knows very well back there in a full back line with the green helmet, brings it out and lays it to Padraig. Padraig coming like a tank up the field. A shout from Ronan is delayed, but Padraig goes himself, breaks the tackle and plays the 2 men inside. No, does it go to hand? Well, it doesn't, but Dennis brought it to where he wanted to be. Dennis McGrath to lay out to Aidan McCormack. This has worked well for him so far. He already set up one for Conor Stakeland. This time he sets for Aidan McCormack. Can Aidan McCormack get in around the back? Loughmore going with him and still going with him, but Aidan McCormack stayed going, and eventually Loughmore got enough on it to knock it out for a 65. So there you go, interesting there. The minute Padraig Maher came out with that ball, he could have laid it to Ronan, but he saw that it was a 2-on-2 inside at the other end and went direct into the 2-on-2 inside, and there's been a really fantastic manly tussle in there between Joey Hennessy and Dennis Maher. Dennis broke that one to ground, and when he turned, he laid it for Aidan McCormack. Aidan come onto it, decided there was more in it than a pint, tried to solo in along the end line with it, but Loughmore got something on it and knocked it for 65, which Aidan will take himself. Tom Lucknan gets the ball, the linesman throws it to Aidan, and the 65 is very central, so towards the road ending here in Holy Cross, you would fancy him to knock this over and give Sarsfields an 8-point lead, which would be their biggest lead of the day so far. Aidan bends, lifts and strikes from 64.5 yards and hits it over the bar. The near umpire goes for it, over the bar it goes, and Sarsfields now nice and quiet. They're gone 8 points clear, but they were 8 points clear before of Loughmore in mid-finals and got caught, but Loughmore need to up it, I would say, shortly, because otherwise Sarsfields could get away on him. Down the near side where Noel gets a hand on it, but Ronan was with him, and so was David Corbett, and in the finish it fell to Paul Maher, who played it forward to Aidan McCormack, who had time to pick out the runner, and the runner was Paddy Crean. Does it go to hand? Yes, it does. Sarsfields for me are moving nicely now. Paddy tried to play it in over the top to where Shawnee Butler had made a great run, but Aidan McGrath had read it, and Aidan McGrath comes and just lays it out to feel nice and cool towards Brian McGrath. Can Brian get the head up? Yes, he does. Finds John Ryan. John will go to the near side to the that half-back line, a great half-back line. And that other one is John Maher. John's puck down the field. It was read well by Ronan Maher. And you want to be pucking it very high to clear him. He raised in front and turn to Michael Cal. Michael Cal carrying a good bit of ball. Carries it and throws it out the far side to Conor Stakem. Conor goes direct for the sticks this time from distance and scores. So Conor Stakem, for me, Sarsfields are starting to really flow now. The scores are flowing. The movement through the lines is starting to flow. The fellas are coming off the shoulder. And if I was Loughmore, I'd be worried at this stage. But maybe Loughmore don't do worry. 2-14 to 11 points. A great catch on the far side by Brian McGrath. Brian pucks it across field again. An angle ball towards this corner where John McGrath cruises onto it in his usual nonchalant style. Sees Padraig coming, so didn't go to pick it because he knew he'd be shunted if he picked it. So clever play from John McGrath not to pick up the ball because he'd be shunted over the line. But when he tried to flick it inside, Padraig Maher held him out and the ball drifted wide. Sarsfields took the puck out quick and again went inside to the big two. If one of these sticks shortly, Sarsfields could be out of sight. It's Dennis Maher inside, but it's another 65. We've had a series of 65s at that end, and 65s nowadays are usually scores, so winning a 65 for your team is a pretty good piece of work nowadays off a ball near the end line. It was Joey Hennessy that time knocked it out, maybe off Dennis, maybe off Owen Purcell, or maybe off Paddy Creedon in there, maybe Paddy Creedon. Anyway, either way, it's a 65 and it's another in a very central position, and it's Aidan McCormack again. And from a Loughmore point of view, I would say their performance has gone flat for me since they got their 8th point. They've only added 3 more in the last 16, 17, 18 minutes to play. Aidan McCormack with the free, or the 65, I beg your pardon, and Aidan McCormack, this one wide, surprisingly. But anyway, it's the other Aidan McGrath with the puck out. Aidan goes down the railway side here in Holy Cross. There is a mover over there, might be John Ryan. John came on to it, got down over and turned, but got a shunt just at the wrong side. And Sarsfields coming in waves again. Sarsfields are moving really smoothly now for my liking and starting to find each other. This time round it was Stephen Cal who stayed going after he passed it to Conor Stakem, who tried and break the tackle and does. And Conor comes in, and if he didn't here he finds Dennis Maher. Is this the goal? There is the goal. It was coming, and I said it. If Loughmore Sarsfields get a goal here, this thing could open up very quickly. They could get away in Loughmore. They have got the goal, and they have got away in Loughmore. 3-14 to 11 points, and suddenly you're in a really big territory here for Loughmore. The Kings that have come back, we know that, but this is asking a really big ask of Loughmore. Aidan goes to the near side to where Brian McGrath showed, maybe to John Maher. John caught it, and John looked up. What kind of movement is inside? Not much. So when there's movement inside, you have to just do that with it, and he just baits it off wide. There wasn't much movement, in fairness, up from where we're standing here, so he went for the post and didn't find him. 3-14 for a smooth running Sarsfields now. 11 points for Loughmore, and the puck out finds a loose hand in Sean Butler. Sean for his 2nd point. Has it got the range? Has it got the accuracy? Yes, it has. And a really poor second quarter for Loughmore has been followed up by an even poorer third one. And now Sarsfields are away at 3-15 after only 36 minutes. That's some scoring. 3-15 to 11 points, and the Sarsfields machine has clicked into gear here. And Loughmore, to me, look a little bit dead in themselves. Anyway, there's typical of it. A poor clearance straight out to Sarsfields, and this is going back over the bar, I'd say, from Owen Purcell. And there's another easy score. No, didn't. They went wide. There was a let off. And there's something flat about Loughmore at the moment that I just can't work out in this quarter, because that's usually not their form. Anyway, down the far side they come. And over down the far side they come there with a puck out here to Larkin Egan. Larkin has a look, again goes indoors, again to John Maher. This time is their movement up front. John goes a bit shorter and lower. There was movement with John McGrath, but Padraig attacked it, but John turned him. But of course Ronan was covering the danger. The 3 county men into one piece of action. Ronan, Padraig and John. A nice piece of play in the middle. A lovely touch there by Stephen Cal, just off the outside of his hurley till Ronan run into it. They're signs for me that Sarsfields are really motoring now. When they're able to do those little jinky things, they'll find each other with little flicks. There's no pressure on them. They're able to play the skillful hurling that we know they have. And to me right now, this is Sarsfields' game to lose. Anyway, Aidan McGrath with the puck out. Aidan again looks on the near side, just about gets it out over the half-back line to John Maher, who is looking for a lot of ball, in fairness, and trying to play it up the field. John McGrath onto this one. Oh, a lovely piece of skill with his hurley. Tried to catch it low down with his other hand. It fell over his hand, which means there's a ruck which suits the backs, which slows down the play right on the 45-yard line in front of the goal. A big ruck. Sean, he says, that's enough, I'll toss it in. And that doesn't suit the forwards, of course. The minute you get a 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th body into this ruck, the move breaks down. Michael Cal came in bravely and took a flick on the leg to flick that away. Shawnee Butler again. Sarsfields are trying to do starting to do kind of flicks that makes them really flow. That time it was Shawnee Butler out to Ronan, up the field to the other yellow helmet, which was Conor Stakem. Conor looking for his 3rd point, doesn't get it. But again, all the chances, all the play, all the flow towards the road end in Holy Cross at 3-15 to 11. I really don't see where Loughmore are going to turn this around unless they can all over the field pick it up soon. Sarsfields in their pomp, in their flow, all their players on their ball. And Loughmore struggling for possession, struggling for movement, struggling for scores. Anyway, Noel over on the far side. There's no flow to the Loughmore play at all at the moment. Kieran McCormick was underneath that, but so was David Corbett, or maybe over there. And the far side might have been Joseph. Ryan Joseph knocked it away off of Kieran's hand and out over the line. And it's the Sarsfields line ball. And they're the kind of little things that are going Sarsfields' way. The line balls, the 65s. So no flow to Loughmore. Anyway, it'll be a line ball for Sarsfields on the far side. Ronan gone over to take it, so you can bet this could be heading straight in the radar of Dennis Maher's green helmet. It's about 90 yards out, so we won't be expecting a score, but we'll be expecting it to land inside of where Loughmore of the extra man. He takes a step back in the first 21 because he sees what's coming, and there's exactly what I'm describing. It's right in towards Dennis's green helmet. Dennis gets the flick on it, but good defence back there at the back by Joey Hennessy to knock it away, and Sarsfields Loughmore bring it out. Eventually bring it out, and it's over there again. It's Joey Hennessy back to Aidan McGrath, back in the goal. Aidan, have a look again. The movement isn't what you'd expect from Loughmore. Brian McGrath's after chancing up the field, so they better win it, and they passed Brian on the way out, so it did, and now Sarsfields are on the attack again, and this time it's a lovely flick up from Paul Maher. Didn't come for him. Loughmore won it back. Loughmore to John McGrath. That's what they want. John inside his brother Brian. Brian on a loop there. Coming with him is Tommy Maher. Tommy plays a lovely ball up to Kieran McCormick. I love to see him scoring a point in his first mid-final, but Ronan Maher isn't the same sentiment as me. Kieran comes back outside him, and Kieran outside. Huge pressure from Ronan Maher. They might play for Tipperary together in the future, to sometime in the future, 2 or 3 years down the line, but for now they're on opposite sides, and Kieran McCormick's a strong buy, but Ronan Maher just now is even stronger, kept him outside him, and forced the wide, so no breakthrough for Loughmore in a score which they badly need. At the other end, Shawnee Butler broke it down. Aidan McCormick came onto it, left it there for Shawnee. Shawnee played it short for Dennis Maher, long ways out from the goal. Will he turn? Will he shoot? He's going off his left side, over his shoulder to be a right one if he scores it. The umpire's having a right close look at it, and eventually he knocks it. He says it was wide. So a little lull for a minute, wide at both ends usually calls a lull, but Aidan McGrath comes to the near side where Brian McGrath looks for it and takes it in his hand over Stephen Cahill and plays it down the line, but down there Joseph Ryan might have it read. He did enough, but it broke inside for for Kieran McCormick again. This time he's with the other of the Mahers. He has to tussle with 2 big Mahers back there as young Kieran McCormick, and again it's Padraig to Ronan with his hand. A safe transfer of the ball like Limerick are doing at the moment, out to Paul Maher, and Paul Maher, as I said, very compact carrier of the ball, a bit like Paddy Kennell of JK Brackens. He's able to beat the tackle with the ball very compact. He shows very little of it when he's solo running, and he was able to beat the tackle, bring it outside the tackle, and then when he's free, when the hurley came across him. Ronan Maher with the puck for Sarsfields. Will he go for the pints here? He can afford wides, that's for sure, so he can really afford to go for this. It's 3-15 for Sarsfields. They've already conceded 3 pints since the 16-17 minute of the game, and that's a fair indication of the way this game has gone. Sarsfields totally on top now. Ronan goes long. Will it go the whole way over? It was a beautiful smooth stroke on the ball, and it cruises over with loads to spare. It even cleared the lines of car at the back of the goal, line of cars at the back of the goal, and Sarsfields go to 3-16-11. And what a turnaround there's been since Loughmore's golden patch. Sarsfields bringing in a sub. It may be Pa Burke, the veteran, back into play here. They're able to rest Dennis Maher, the captain, so they are, and Pa Burke is in for Dennis, and that's a sign the Sarsfields have him in reserve as well. Brian McGrath shows again, gets and lays it back. Oh, Jipper, Sarsfields half hours. Look at the amount of work Conor Statham does for his team. Got the block in there, so he did on Tommy Maher. Tommy went back in fairness, and won it back for Loughmore. A bit of a stalemate and a throw in, but Loughmore need much more flow to their game than throw-ins and that up front. There's no flow and movement. Tommy won it again, came forward and won a free, so 2 good pieces of action from Tommy Maher there in a minute. Won the first ball originally, and it was taken off and won the throw in and brought it forward and won a free. And maybe that's as good as it gets for Loughmore for a few minutes, just to get points on the board, a couple of frees, because there's nothing from play happening in there. The Mahers and Michael Cahill, who's gone back deeper than midfield, have it sewn up, and Paul Maher. So John McGrath, points from frees might be their lifeline just now. John Stoops, John Picks. Interesting to see the different styles of free takers. Aidan McCormick roll lifts, John McGrath jab lifts and over the bar. And Loughmore get their first score in a long time. They go to 12 points. Sarsfields still on 3-16. So a cool 3 goals and 4 points in it. That's 13 points in the game. And I would say Sarsfields in a comfort zone here. So, interestingly, now Sarsfields have pushed up at the other end. No room in front of the full forward line. That's because Dennis Maher has gone off. So they can push up and they don't have to go the long ball all the way to Dennis. Their half forward line gone deep. Anyway, on the puck out, it came to the near side and it was contested by Owen Purcell. But when it came to ground, Paul Maher, who I'm hugely impressed with, picked it up and slapped it. Would have been a great point if he got his second one, but didn't go over for him. He came onto it at ferocious speed. His first touch was excellent with one hand. He cruised forward and knocked it wide, let Loughmore off the hook. Aidan goes the first side with the puck out, and did he spot it? Did he get enough? He did. Fair play to him. Found Brian McGrath, who's shown for a lot of puck outs. He goes the far side to where Noel had peeled off, but the two Mahers cut it out. Eventually it came to Noel. Noel a bit corral, but eventually he made a bit of room for himself. There's no one better at doing that. He played it inside, was fouled in so doing, and when the advantage didn't come, Loughmore will get the free, so there'll be a second pointed free here. I'd say the foul was originally on Noel. The ball was heading for Cian Hennessy, but once Cian didn't get possession of it, the referee Shawnee Everett, who's having a very good game here, absolutely clean as a whistle, letting it go where he can, but in fairness there's no wrong stroke in the whole game. Loughmore are saying we want to take it quick, we want to move it central. Sarsfield stood in the way. Michael Call's all experience there just to slow down the play, get in the way, but it's central now, so I guess John McGrath will have to go for the goal here. There is a long ways to go. No, he's tying it up as he was tapping it over the bar and does. No, went for the goal. Hopped it too early. It came back out and went just doubled on over the far side by maybe, let me see, was it Brian McGrath? He doubled on it. He'd get up very high like a tennis volley. He volleyed it down towards the ground. If it was on target, it was a goal, but it wasn't on target. Went outside. So Loughmore went for the goal from the free. John McGrath typically casual to throw off the back line and then slapped it, but it hit the ground very early, came up in the air, and then Brian McGrath's volley went wide and no lifeline for Loughmore off that one. Over on the far side again, Loughmore knocked it back there with John Ryan in the air. When it came back, there's a stalemate in the middle, but Loughmore won the stalemate and carried it forward, and here's a chance if Brian McGrath can get this, but no, a beautiful flick in the air from Ronan, and once he did it, he didn't stay stationary. He knocked it to Michael Cal. Michael Cal knocked it back to Ronan, and here's where Sarsfields are at their very best, playing towards the lines. Paul Maher in the end of it, he'll go inside. His last one went wide, and this one they got something on it, but it fell to Paddy Creedon. Paddy is massive, strong inside. This is a chance, a great block inside, a super block inside again by Joey Hennessy. He's a master of the block down when you think the fella's going to get a clear shot at the goal. He gets the hurley across, brilliant. Anyway, Conor Stakelum won it back on the far side. Exceptionally strong Conor Stakelum in those exchanges, but from that exchange it went wide. It's a puck out for Loughmore Castleiney. I see Paul Maher down at the end of that particular move. He was half blocked just as he struck the shot at the goal, and when his shot fell short, then Paddy Creedon caught it, but Loughegan blocked him. Shawnee sensibly calls the water break, which will give Paul Maher and everybody else a chance just to pick themselves up. But at this water break, the story of the game is Loughmore not going well, not flowing. You have to be fair and say they have lots of injuries. It has distracted a lot from the team they would have picked. Against that, though, Sarsfields in their flow, 3-16 in their flow here, and they could finish up this game with 3-20, 3-21, 3-22, which would be a powerful score. Loughmore, to me, don't look to have the life in them just at this point to be able to turn this thing around. They'll need to start chipping into that Sarsfields lead very quickly if they're to finish this game anywhere within sight of them. So right now you'd say Sarsfields favourite for the Johnny Lahey Cup. Loughmore and of course for a place in a county quarter final, which is a huge part of the prize here. Sarsfields haven't won, of course, the Mid-Senior Hurling Championship since 2017. So 4 years on, they're looking to win back the Johnny Lahey Cup. And as I said, a place in the county preliminary quarter final against the second place in one of the county groups, which is a major prize. It would mean then that they could have a right go of their group and try and win the group, but if not, the second lifeline is there of qualification for the county quarter finals at preliminary round. On the other side, you've Loughmore here facing into a really tough county quarter final group along with Kildangan. You remember last year's county final. So Loughmore looking like they won't be able to get that second lifeline and will have to come out of the county qualifying group instead. So crowd gone a little quiet here. The buzz that was there in the first quarter, particularly the end of the first quarter, has gone a little because Sarsfields have assumed control of the game. 3-16 for Sarsfields, 12 points for Loughmore, and Shawnee blows for the end of the last water break. What can Loughmore come up with? What can Sarsfields hold on to? Sarsfields to me hold all the aces here. Pa Burke in. Good to see the veteran back in, number 20 on his back here. Came in for Dennis Maher, and still that same hunger there to play in mid-finals, to win more mid-finals, and to help Sarsfields in every way he can. The train passes in the background, gives a bib, but they pass on their way. Will they make Dublin for half three? Is that some Cork supporters? Well, if it is, it's the late train for the All-Ireland final, because it's about half one here. Yeah, they would still make Croke Park if you're on that train, but right now nobody here, certainly in blue or in green and yellow or green and red, cares about the All-Ireland final in Croke Park. They care about the last quarter of the Mid-Senior Hurling final, the Centenary Agri Mid-Senior Final 2021. Paddy McCormack heads back towards the goal. Aidan McGrath does the same at the other end. Paddy McCormack has a ball by appearances of it, or Aidan has a ball ready to poke out. And unless Loughmore get a goal within the first 3, 4, 5 minutes here, which they haven't looked like getting at all, well then I would say this is only one possible outcome here. Here we go, over the near side, two fine players, Ronan Maher, Brian McGrath here in front of us. Two fine strong men, part of the next tip manager's plans. This will drop between the two of them. Let's see what happens here. It's very close to the line. Brian, cool man in possession, and there it is again. Really cool player in possession. Plays it inside to John Ryan. John tried to cut it through the middle. Michael Cal again read it and cut it out. John McGrath won it back off him, the younger legs. But Back goes Ronan to help out Michael Callan. Ronan comes forward, took an out shot coming out there of Shane Hennessy, looked for a free but didn't get it, and Noel McGrath picked up the pieces and just knocked it over the bar. I see Noel gone in as full forward now on Patrick Maher, another intriguing battle, but that's an old boost for Loughmore. It gives them to 13 points, but they need lots more than that. That was a ball they turned over on the way out with Ronan, and fell to Noel McGrath, no better man to put it over. Paddy McCormack with the puck out. There we go. Paddy goes up the railway side here. Up underneath will go Aidan McCormack. Aidan lets it break on. Inside him, let me see, John Maher read it. He's been one of Loughmore's strongest players, as he has, trying to keep the ball moving forward. It's up front. It doesn't seem to be the movement. There will be a stoppage on the far side if Shawnee sees it. There's a SARS man down. And fair play to John Maher. He points that out to Shawnee Ever that there is a SARS man down. Shawnee says hold for a second, and we'll see. It might be Aidan McCormack is still there. Pat Burke maybe on the far side. We'll see. Pat's gone in farther. We'll see at the far side who's down now in a minute. Up at the other end, the crowd has gathered in front of the goal, so hard to see how Loughmore will get a breakthrough there unless there's a flick on a high ball by the likes of Anthony Ryan, maybe Noel McGrath. So a stoppage here with 14 minutes to go in the mid-final. Stoppage for an injury to Sarsfields, but they are in total control. Full forward line, you have young and old, Paddy Creedon and Pat Burke. One guy starting out his senior career, the other in the autumn of his senior career. Both great players. Will Paddy McCormack or Paddy Creedon be a senior hurler for Tip in the future? We'll see. Certainly his first season as senior suggests that the power will be there. And a fantastic minor championship win last year. Over on the far side is it Shawnee Butler with the yellow helmet getting back to his feet. We'll have a look. It may well be Shawnee. It is Shawnee. Looks like more like an ankle injury. So I would say Sarsfields will rest him here. They know that they have this game in the bag, and they do rest him. I guess a deserved clap on the far side. We'll see who they bring on now in a minute, because John Maher's going to get on with the free. John takes the free. He's going for length. He's going for distance. He's going for the post, and he's getting the score. So 2 pointed frees in a row bring Loughmore to 14. 14 points to 316. 18 minutes gone in the second half, 12 to go, and about a minute or two. We'll see in a minute who Sarsfields brought on for Shawnee Butler. In the meantime, Paddy McCormack goes with the puck out, and John Ryan says leave it to me and takes it. He's been impressive on the balls he's come to. Takes a flick across, but stays coming and drills it forward. Will it hit the grass? Will it roll out wide? Doesn't have to, because down there Paul Maher brings it and charges forward and drives it up the line. A contest here in front of us is left to John Ryan again. Call took the break. Very good, very clever there from Loughmore to let break through to him. Now have Loughmore movement at last. They have movement at last up front. John McGrath, can he sidestep? Can he goal? No. Ronan stood his ground, so he got the sidestep, but the goal then wasn't as sure. But that was the first piece of real movement in the Loughmore forward line. It came from a brilliant move off the shoulder from John McGrath, off of maybe Shane Hennessy or maybe Noel up there to pick him out and pick out his run. But Ronan stood his ground, and that's a big body to have facing you, so he was only able to get the point out of the move. It was Loughmore's best move in a long time. Takes him to 15 points to 316, 10 in it now. There was 13 at one stage. High at the far end and down the far side it comes. It's broken on the far side, and a first puff for Kieran Maloney since he came on over there. Kieran lays it inside towards Conor Stakelum. Conor survives the shunt, as he often does, and knocks the point, and that takes the harm out of Loughmore one at the other end. So there you are, Conor Stakelum's upper body strength very strong, and hard to knock. When you shunt him, he's able to take the step, still be on his feet, and still be in scoring range and add balance enough to score. And he gets his third score. Ed McGrath with the puck out. Down it comes. A beautiful flick there by Kieran McCormack. A beautiful wristy flick to flick on the ball. Down it goes inside where Padraig Maher is in control. Padraig with the face of his hurley out to his brother Ronan. What a link up they do time and again. Ronan drills at the far side towards Padburke. Par to turn. Pad does score a point in the mid-final. Well, we see instead he lays it to the new lad in, Kieran Maloney. Kieran Maloney comes up the far side and just across the face of the goal and wide. But Pat Burke very unselfish there to lay off to the other young lad who's just in the game. He likes the young lads coming into mid-finals and get the point they'll remember always. Here we go. Aidan McGrath with again puck out. Just drills it long down. Anthony Ryan's underneath it. So is John McGrath. But the highest of all was Brian McGrath. Brian went across and won it and dropped it in around the square, where it fell to Paddy McCormack, who'll come and usually finds a man with it at that stage, goes long. Up underneath this John Ryan, he should have the height here and does. He knocks it back towards Brian McGrath. Will Brian be happy with the point? He is happy with the point and knocks it back over the bar. And Loughmore's scoring rate has certainly gone up. It just hasn't gone up in green, it's gone up in white, and it gets them up to 16 points. If they were to get a goal as well, then you'll hear the murmur back in the crowd. So we'll see. 10 minutes to go. A Loughmore goal will get the buzz back in the crowd here. At the moment, Sarsfields have a 10-point cushion, and they're able to match point for point the Sarsfields score, or the Loughmore scores, and keep the old gap at a safe distance. Paddy McCormack goes up the far side, right to hand. What a beautiful puck out to Conor Stakelum. What a great block down over the far side. But it comes back to Conor, and he charges forward. He'll usually pass at this stage. Does pass. Out in the far wing, Ronan had gone 40 yards to take the pass off him, but left it behind. Maybe the run took it out of him, and out comes John Maher with it. John Maher comes down the far side. Hurler, footballer, man. Down he drives down the field, and where John underneath it, Noel underneath it, but Padraig Maher underneath it. Dropped the hurley, but caught the ball, and that's all he needed to Brody Ronan. Ronan's puck is just effortless, absolutely effortless, over the bar at the far side. And there Tonic scores for the Sarsfields because there's very little work involved in him. Fullback catches it, centre back takes the pass and leaves it out wide, out over the bar at the other end, and the lead just stays up there around the 10, 11, 12 points. It's comfortable for Sarsfields really. John Maher trying his heart out for Loughmore, 2 men on him. Paddy Creedon there, Pa Burke there. John managed to get outside both of them and deliver long. There's loads of Sarsfields there, and Loughmore tried to break it inside the back, but Joseph Ryan covered it and covered it twice, and then Ronan went where his flick was going, and Ronan took it out and noticed Padraig out in front of the sideline, in front of the scoreboard. He was knocked. That's not an easy thing to do, and it goes 3-18 to 16 points and a free out for Sarsfields in their own right cornerback position. All this of course swallowing up time and edging Sarsfields closer and closer to the mid-senior hurling title. John Maher is down at the near end, and I wouldn't be surprised. He's having a whale of a game. He's trying to drive Loughmore on bit by bit by bit. There was 3 Sarsfields around him on that last ball. He still managed to clear it. So I would just say he's exhausted from his work rate over here at this end. He has kept showing for ball, but from his own goalie and from the other end, him and Brian McGrath and John Ryan in fairness, but just not enough happening around the field in enough of places for Loughmore to make gain off his clearances. So John Maher, it's just a shot at the bottle, and he'll be back into play. Conor Stakelum on him, 2 strong fellas. It'll be a puck out from the near end. Here we go, a free out, I beg your pardon, from the near end from Ronan, from Padraig, and Padraig just goes long up by the railway side. Aidan McCormick underneath it, falls behind and covered over the far side there, maybe by Larkin Egan. Larkin decides to go long, but look at the front running the Sarsfields again, Joseph Ryan, but Noel got a flick in it, and then a really good trick out of Noel showed the referee that young Paul Maher was dragging out of him, and showed the referee the picture he wanted, which was the picture of a fellow being slightly fouled, which won him the free, which his brother John will show. That's just the kind of cuteness you expect. A bit of magic earlier on the point, just a bit of cuteness to win his free here. I don't think it'll make the difference, but John will probably give Loughmore his 17 point here, or their 17 point. John dips the knees, dips the shoulders, and drills it over the bar. Loughmore got to 17 points. Their scoring rate has definitely gone up in this half. In this quarter, I just don't think by enough. Paddy McCormick with a puck out. Sars 10 up at 3-18 to 17 points, and the message will go around the county after this. I think Sarsfields are real contenders for the Dan Breen this year. Here we go. Paddy McCormick with the puck out. She drops a little short, and John might be able to get underneath it. It beat them all. It didn't beat John Maher though, and John Maher comes a man of the match in the mid-final some years back in 18. And anyway, down at the far corner, soft enough free there, but anyway, it was off of maybe Paul Maher, who seems to have tired just a little bit. He's carrying a leg a small bit and got caught in the last 2 frees. I would say he's carrying a leg a small bit. We'll see if Sarsfields have spotted that and if they change it. But he's had a very, very good game. Someone said something over there from Sarsfields. It was a soft free. I wouldn't blame him for saying something. And anyway, John McGrath has a chance for their 18th score here, which would leave the 3 straight goals in it. Anyway, John bends, lifts and scores, and yes, the Loughmore score rate has gone up. They've gone to 18 points from 11, from 12, from 13. They've gone to 18, but no green flag coming crucially. And Sarsfields with a 9-point lead here, 24 on the clock, 6 to go before Shawnee blows the last whistle. Paddy McCormick with the puck out. Sarsfields is in a comfort zone. Jack Derby looking for it, so is Joseph. Ryan goes Joseph. Outside Joseph comes, and he look for Jack Derby with the hand pass maybe. Jack gone up the line, and there is the pass. They'll do well to get out of here though, but Jack has the power and the legs to, beautiful, comes in field to Ronan, to Padraig. Does Padraig go for the score? Yes, he does, and that's an absolute killer for Loughmore. After going down and scoring one from a free, the 3 backs, Joseph Ryan, Jack Derby and Padraig Maher between them, just knock one up between them on the other side. Loughmore go quick with the puck out down the far side, and over there Sarsfields have won it back down the far side, and it's Ronan Maher this time. Plays it to Aidan McCormick. Aidan winds up, which gave Brian McGrath a chance to get a good block in. The ball spun to ground. It was won by John Maher, pucking a truckload of ball. He plays it down towards Kieran McCormick, who gets a good flick in it against side Ronan Maher. As I said, I could see these played for Tipperary in years ahead, the 2 of them on the same team. The young lad and the established player. Will Ronan Maher be the tip captain in years ahead? I've no doubt he will. Will Kieran McCormick be on that panel? I think he will too. So, learning his trade here in his first year as senior. A lovely flick there in over Ronan's head. Ronan then throwing an arm across him, held him back, and a chance for Loughmore to get their 19th point. Here a clap from the Sarsfields Studs bench, and yes, as I expected, Sarsfields saw that Paul Maher maybe was limping a little and made the prudent move. This game is safe for him. They took him off. We'll find out for a minute who will come in for him. But Paul Maher, for me, really impressive for Sarsfields this year, and impressive again today. John Maher scores the point, which takes Loughmore to 19. So the scoreboard showing 19 points for Loughmore, 3-19 for Thurles Sarsfields, and I would still say Sarsfields in a strong, safe position to hold out and win this game. Paddy McCormick with the puck out. Off the last one, they worked a point. Let's see, he goes long this time, down towards where, over the far side, Connor Stakelum is. He goes high for it, breaks back towards Aidan McCormick. He wound up for the last one and got blocked down. He has more time this time to wind up. Look at the post and drill, and outside and wide it goes. The cars are starting to move behind the goal here in Holy Cross. That's usually a sign that the folks here in Mid-Tipperary think that the Centenary Agri title is going to Thurles Sarsfields, and that this game is out of reach of Loughmore Castleiney. A good snap on that ball by John Maher, and this is by John Ryan, or by Anthony Ryan, and he laid it to a non-Russian player who laid it over here on the far side to Liam Tracy. Liam, a wall of blue in front of him, tried to find a high ball inside towards Kieran McCormick. He would have had to tread the needle to find him. It was that tight in there because the Sarsfields had funneled back, and it didn't come off for him, but look, they're trying it. But that is the type of move Loughmore haven't been able to produce enough of today. The fella coming off the shoulder to open a gap, to open a goal chance, hasn't happened from. No goal from Loughmore is unusual. Now they got none against McCarthy in that brilliant semi-final leader. Scored 22 points that night, but no goal. So goals usually a good currency for Loughmore, none today. And that's the crucial one. Here we go. Anyway, over the far side, Pat Burke leaves the middle, goes across, wins his ball, and will lay it back out the line, goes strong, maybe too strong down the line, and there'll be a Loughmore clearance down the far side. But all of this eating up time, we're at 27 minutes gone, and Loughmore definitely in a hole that's for once too deep for them. I've seen them come back from huge deficits before, not this time I would say. Anyway, a Loughmore line ball on the far side. They did have lots of injuries in fairness. Down at the far end, Sarsfields have their sub in for young Paul Marno. It's for Ronan. They've brought in their fifth sub, just giving Ronan an old rest there, and they're bringing another sub as well. We'll have a look at numbers now in a minute of the lads coming on in their back line. And here we go. A high ball in around the square. Noel stays in around the back, but there is no break because Patrick Maher decides that it's not even going to turf, it's not going to ground. Patrick Maher snaps it out of the air, and when he does it, the next thing is usually either a free out or a clearance. He went to ground, it was a free out, and the chance for David, maybe Corbett going back. We'd see was a David went off for Ronan. Either way, Sarsfields giving a few lads a chance here to get their mid-final medal on the field of play, and a free out for Ronan. In behind him, Joseph Ryan ties a lace and goes back in on his man, and Shane Hennessy, and Ronan will take the free. So, is it Ronan or David Corbett? One of the wing backs with the yellow helmet. Here we see up the field it goes anyway. It was the style of Ronan, it was the range of Ronan, it was the distance of Ronan, and it was the point of Ronan Maher. I don't need to ask, is he still on the field? Where he struck it from, an awesome puck from about 120 yards. It cruised out over the black spot at the other end. Anyway, a puck out from Aidan McGrath. Up he goes again and picks the puck out of the air. And there you go. I think you're looking at your next Tipperary captain here. We'll see. Stephen Cahill. Really good ball. Up the line towards Kieran Maloney. Kieran has time to come in field with it, but John Ryan got something across him and then got something across number 22. Kieran Maloney, a bit of stalemate. Eventually, it's Brian McGrath who comes, very impressive when he's on the ball as well. Nice and cool on the ball, a good range of strokes in him. He plays it out the far side to where Eddie Connolly is on it. Eddie got a brilliant point there in the first half, and he just drives it in, hoping for a break inside, but the Mars will decide there might be no break. No, it came to ground, so it did, and Michael Cahill kicked it ahead of him and then shuffled after it, got down over it and picked it. Can he come outside the tackle? Well, there's two Loughmore men there to hold him up and win back the ball and win back the free, and it'll be a free in for Loughmore. Is it too little too late? They decide to just lob. There it goes, in around the square early. Noel John McGrath has to reverse, then turn, then go again to try and win it. Roland Podrick sees the danger and comes and kills and gets those strong legs across over it. Back there with him is Stephen Maher, another good option for the back line for Thurles Sarsfields. Come on there, maybe for Paul. Anyway, there's a stalemate back there, and the stalemate results in exactly what Sarsfields would want. 10 points up in the mid-final, a puck out, and a chance for Paddy McCormick to cool the whole thing down, slow it down. 29:44 on the clock, a chance for Sarsfields to just cool the whole thing down, take the sting out of it, and a puck out. So we're approaching the end of this Centenary Agri mid-final, and the story of the game has been Sarsfields with 3 goals, Loughmore with none. Loughmore a little flatter than usual. Sarsfields definitely deserving winners. The livelier team when the game was up for grabs, far the livelier team, a wider range of scorers I would say, and running the ball through the lines, and lively coming off the shoulder. So a chance for Pat Burke to register here. The crowd urge him on, and I'd say you'll hear a roar here, and you do. A roar of goodwill towards Pat Burke. The veteran came onto a break, shuffle forward. He's done so many times, and that's familiar style then. Over the bar, a pint from play for Pat Burke, as he's done so often in mid-finals in the past. 3:21 for Sarsfields, 19 points for Loughmore. We're really just playing out the rest of this here. Podrick again with the hand pass to Jack Derby, highly impressive, really steady. Him to Stephen Cahill to come forward, look up, tired bodies, tired Loughmore bodies. When you're chasing the ball all the time, you will be tired. He plays it here up in front of Owen Purcell. Owen Purcell maybe for the score could have had another look. Went inside in the county under 20 panelist and went wide on the bridge side. So will this be the last puck? Is the long whistle coming from Shawnee Everard? I would say for Loughmore it came a good while back. but Sarsfields are about to be crowned the mid-senior hurling champions for the first time since 2017. A little bit more action to go. Down the far side it goes. A contest over there on the far side. Anthony Ryan was underneath it, and it's still there in a stalemate, and Michael Carl shuffles onto it again, throws a little dummy, comes back to where Joseph Ryan went back in the pocket and tried an ambitious one to the far side where Ronan had peeled off, and will it make the sideline? Ronan and Brian McGrath, two strong fellas. In comes Stephen Maher. Brian McGrath won the tussle, went forward and flicked it with two hands in front of Kieran McCormick. Now, here we go. Kieran McCormick, she went a little far for him, but he got swallowed up in the tackle and held, and came back, had won the free though, was swallowed up and was held in the tackle. The ball had gone a little far from the flick on by Brian McGrath, had just gone a yard too far, which took him into the tackle of Joseph Ryan, and Joseph held him up. Probably the wise thing to do. Noel McGrath, will he go for a goal here or what will he decide? Just goes to side to blast it at the net and scores. Gets the goal. So Loughmore get a goal. It'll put a better look on the sideline. I'm surprised it got through, to be honest, because it was belly button height, but it got through. 119 to 321. I would say it flatters Loughmore, to be honest with you, but it is a goal on the board. Loughmore's first since their quarter final against JK Brackens. Paddy McCormick with the puck out. He'll be slightly annoyed to have not a clean sheet, but it won't matter a bit because Paddy goes with the puck out. Shawnee has a look at it in the air. Shawnee Everett says no, there's another exchange left in this, and underneath it Pat Burke picks it when it comes down to the sky, goes outside his man and scores, and that'll get a big cheer once it lands as well. And there it is, and it deserves it. A beautiful accurate shot from Pat Burke of his own puck out, and Sarsfields home and dry now and cruising past second point. There's the last puck out, and there you go. Centenary Agri mid-final 2021. Sars 322, Loughmore 119. Loughmore a little off colour. Sarsfields certainly not. 322 is enough to win any game, and Sarsfields are worthy winners of the John Lahey Cup for 2021. Take care and thanks from Holy Cross. Get Joe sent the call, yeah. But then to Joe, yeah. Oh, he'll come here. Yeah, brilliant. I get now here, so. Okay. One lead, one lead. Perfect, yeah. Here.
One, two.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll make the presentation. Sorry that we're facing towards the wall, but we have to for the cameras, and it has gone out on Streamline there today. Right, first of all, I'd like to welcome you all here to Holy Cross, Ballycale, here for the Centenary Agri Mid-Tipperary Hurling Final here today. First of all, I want to thank both teams, Loughmore Castleiney and Thurles Sarsfields, for giving us a magnificent game of hurling here today. And I'd like you to give both sides a big round of applause. I say congratulations to Thurles Sarsfields, and I'd say hard luck there to Loughmore Castleiney. I wish both teams, we start the county series next Friday and Saturday and Sunday, and I wish both teams the best of luck going forward. First of all, before I make the presentation, I just want to say a few thank yous. First of all, here to Holy Cross Ballycale GA Club here for having everything in top order for us here today, having plenty of stewards, everything was done right for us here, so a big round of applause to Holy Cross Ballycale GA Club for having everything ready for us. To our sponsors mean a lot to us here in the mid-board, and our sponsors here are Centenary Agri Co-op, and we're represented here by Joe Carrigan, Eamon Barrigan, and the chairman Paddy Daly here today. And I want to say to the three boys, we appreciate the sponsorship that you give us here every year, and I want to say a big thank you to that for that sponsorship. It means a lot to us here in the mid-board, so a big thank you to you. To Eamon McGee, he's on hand there, taking all the photographs, and he gives a big hand out here in the programme during the week for giving us photos for the programme. So Eamon, a big thank you to you as well. I'd like to thank Catherine, my secretary here, Morgan here, our PRO. To the man in the middle today, Sean Everett, I want to thank him and his officials and say a job well done. I suppose a traditional here at our mid-finals every year. And so we had no mid-final last year due to COVID, but this year it was great to see that we had the crowds back at matches, but we had the Maikarki Pipe Band back, and it was lovely to see them back here today, and it was our first gig here today for the mid-final, and I'd like to thank the Maikarki Pipe Band for playing their music here today. I appreciate it very much. Thank you. So finally, I call on the captain of the Thurles Sarsfields team, which is, Dennis Maher, to come and accept the cup on behalf of Thurles Sarsfields team. So, boys, we could have.
I'll just start off by thanking Holy Cross GA for hosting the match. The field is in fantastic order. I'd just like to thank the mid-board there for organising the mid-championship. It was nice to be able to play it this year. COVID messed up last year, so it was just nice to be able to get involved in it this year. I'd like to thank Shawnee Ever and the officials there for reffing a fantastic match. And just like to thank the lads involved with the stars, Mark, Liam, Eamon, Brendan, and all the other lads in the background. There's a lot of you there, so I won't go through all the names. And finally, just like to thank Loughmore for a good match. It's never an easy match with Loughmore, so just 3 cheers for them. Hip hip, hip hip, hip hip.
Thanks very much to Dennis Maher. Right, there's a man of the match award as well, and I just left out important people there. The boys that's doing this streamlining there, to Noel Maher and to Pat Hackett. And this has gone out live today, and it's grand that we have to stream it because people that couldn't get tickets for this, at least our patrons today, to watch it on television there today. So, lads, I'd like to thank you for looking after us there today. A job well done. Thank you. Right, we've one more presentation to make, and it's the Man of the Match Award. And it goes to Patrick Mayer of Thurles Sarsfields. So, Patrick Mayer. Right, so thanks very much, Patrick. Congratulations. And thank everyone for attending here today. Thank you.